Good evening. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP Bangladesh. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP Bangladesh. Thank you all for joining us and staying with us till the end. Honorable Knowledge Seeker, today I am your host for the evening. My name is Badhun Das. I am from Bangladesh. Dear Knowledge Seeker, I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. IGP is a social and ISO certified international training institute. In 3 years, we already served 3 million plus knowledge seekers from 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and globally accredited. We are connected to more than 250 plus profession and 4,500 plus organizations. Institute of Global Professional IGP is the training faculty for skill development which was founded in 2020 and is generating competent candidates to meet demand in the global labor market by providing professional qualification. The Institute of Global Professional is an education institute that provides social work globally recognized and reportable. We serve student and community resource providing holistic social work and education. We believe that it's not effective to increase one's skill just by acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation to generate proficient generation all over the world. We distribute our services locally, nationally, and internationally to students, job seekers, job holder, and also for learners, the respective campus location and distance from. We are an occupational and dependable IGP institute from all over the world. Our vision is education is not a business product, it's a part of our key Based on our vision, we are trying to reach all corners of the world for free webinars, seminar, courses, award, quiz competition, mentoring, and counseling, etc. On the other side, we are also trying to serve more than 100 premium services for free, like Create Own Portfolio, Resume Builder, Cover Letter, Motivation Letter, and One Knowledge platform for gathering general knowledge, which can upgrade all day. Kids Learning Game, website free webinar, converse sites, and many, many more. We help to empower you to learn to meet their expectation and dream and become highly skilled people. We implement several training program, webinar, and offline online courses for youth and learners by professional trainers and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals to develop all kind of youth and to promote the education of personalities. To ensure excellence and in-depth instruction, we arrange with qualified trainers, speaker, structure. We extended free services to more than 3 million knowledge seekers in last 3 years. We have affiliation with universities and organizations in 70 different countries. Many virtual assigning with many colleges have been accomplished. We are working to create a legendary generation of future scholars and citizens who will be accountable. We are constantly prepared to assist all knowledge seekers with valuable services. Spreading knowledge is crucial for the institute operation. We believe that knowledge is love and light and vision. So we try to understand the needs of today's generation and will serve them with good research and practice methods. We must have a genuine concept for the learner we represent. More diversity, growth, and innovation are required to lead a session with professionalism, passion, and integrity. IGP members are committed to offering effective best quality service and continuous improvement so that individuals who can seek information can improve their skill level and value. Before we move to the next, let me remind, don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Before we move to the next, let me remind, don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Moving to the next, with your continuous support, we are already completed 1250 webinar. Name is Women and Girls in Science. And today our first speaker name is ma'am Jan Park. Before I hand over the stage to ma'am, want to share a very little bit about our first speaker, ma'am. Dynamic results driven leader, director of home care for true care professionals. Now, very important moment for invite presentation. Now,
Good morning, everybody. And yes, it is good morning here. It is precisely 6:17 in the morning, quite early for me. And welcome to this wonderful opportunity that you have to learn about science. And for me, it is the art of nursing. And I do call it an art because nursing is a very special, it's probably one of the most rewarding, joyful, sometimes heartbreaking career that you can ever enter. I am very proud to say that I have been a nurse for 52 years. Um, Heck of a long time, isn't it? Yes, indeed. And I know you can see that I may have lived in the US for over 40 years, but I'm actually from London, England. I started my career in 1971, so that puts me up there. But really, I want to talk about what is so important about being a nurse and why a nurse, under my understanding, is a calling. It's not something you just go into because. So you're here because you're interested in science and perhaps interested in going into a career of nursing. Um, but I would like to ask you a question. Why, for those who are interested, do you wish to become a nurse? If you tell me, I want to look after people. Well, that's all very well because you can look after people in a store, you can look after somebody doing anything. That's not what we do. Now, if you say, I want to care for people, now we've hit the spot because you care for people because you care. That's what nursing is all about. It's caring. It's meeting the needs. There really isn't much um, in the way of genre of nursing that I have not touched in my 52 years. I am glad to say I am retired from active nursing at this point, but still, once a nurse, always a nurse. They do say that a nurse only really retires when she dies. And I can believe that because I still continue to care for people all over the place. So nursing has a very important role. It has changed a tremendous amount in what nurses do. And I have to admit, I do not know a lot about how nursing careers are across the world. But it is the most rewarding position that you can ever have. My heart and soul is a nurse. I was 6 when I decided to be a nurse. I felt that calling. And I think that's important to understand. You can go into nursing. Absolutely, you can go into nursing. I don't encourage. I believe that if you know that nursing is the career for you. It is. I can't always describe how my soul feels when I was working. It, and I have to just correct something. Director of True Care Professionals was actually over 10 years ago. I moved on and moved states and became a director of another home care agency here in Iowa. And home care has been my joy. People say, well, what was your favorite? I have to admit, every genre of nursing I was in, I loved. But I think my two favorites have to be surgery, which I spent over 15 years in, and home care, which I spent close to 10, 12 years in. That is probably the longest I have spent in two of the genres. Home care is very important, of course, because our goal is to keep that patient in their home safely for as long as possible. However, if you wish to go into home care, I advise, once you become a nurse, to do at least a year of intense nursing. Because one of the most important things is observation on the patient. And if you haven't got those skills, it's kind of odd to go into a home where you are the only one there and you are alone with that patient, but you have the right to go in and see that patient if they allow it. Surgery, completely different kettle of fish. In both instances, I was director or administrator, but it still meant everything in the world to me to be a nurse. As I say, I don't encourage, if that is what your career and that is what your lifelong want is to be, you can be the best nurse in the world. But it's called caring. It's not sympathy, it's empathy. We don't show sympathy. That's not the right word. We are empathetic to the needs of every single one of our patients that we care for. Most importantly, I have a story to tell about some of today's nurses. And this is probably just an odd situation. Maybe, maybe not. But I went to see a friend of mine in the hospital. And nurse came in to do a procedure, so I left for their privacy. Sitting out there was a door open. A nurse went in to see another patient. He said, I do need to go to the bathroom. She said, I'll get an aid. What would it have taken that nurse? 5 minutes out of her time to help that patient. Because what I always said was, every time I was leaving a room or a home, is there anything else I can do for you? I have the time. Whether I have the time or not, it doesn't matter. You have to have the time for them. Show them the importance of what they are and how important you feel they are to meet their needs. A nurse is a role of incredible importance. We see things sometimes doctors don't, because we treat a patient as a whole, not just a disease or an illness or an issue. We see a patient holistically, and you treat the whole patient from top to bottom. It's the most important thing that we can think of. Nursing is an incredible career if you wish to go into it. You will know, and there's going to be certain things. It's going to be very hard work. It's going to be long hours. And you may do things that you go, oh, no, I don't want to do that ever again. You will find the genre of nursing as you go through your training and education. You will find the genre of nursing that you want to be in, be it pediatrics, geriatrics, you name it. There are so many genres out there, and it takes special people to do special tasks. I'm not a psych nurse. I did do some, but that's not my role. And I knew that when I went into it. You find your niche and you love it. And yes, I know I changed, but every time I loved every niche of it. The opportunities arise for you to grow, educate yourselves, and do continue educating yourself, because my goal was always to learn something new every single day. And it's still one of my goals. And believe me, I still do learn something every day. because you don't know everything. You can't know everything. Nobody's perfect. Of course, we make errors, and we learn from those errors. And believe me, you don't do them again. So please, just think about it. It's a calling. I believe in that very deeply, that to be the best nurse that you possibly can, you continue to grow, you continue to learn, you continue to educate yourself, and go from there. Every day is a new day. Don't forget, tomorrow never comes, because it's always today. I appreciate all of your time and hope that you enjoy all the speakers that you have today. As I say, it's very early in the morning here. I did not realize you were 12 hours in front of me, but that's okay. Got up specially so that I could talk to you. And it has been a joy and an honor, which it is an honor to be a nurse, as always. So thank you very much. I appreciate everything that you do for everybody around you. If you care, you treat everybody the same. There is no difference. Nobody is any different than anybody else. We are all special people. Everybody in the world is special. They may have their little quirks and what have you, but everybody in the world is special, and everybody in the world deserves to have the best that they possibly can for anything and everything that they need. And that's what we do as a nurse. We meet needs. We care. We're honored to serve. I suppose you could say that. We serve everybody around us, whether it be a co-worker, a friend. We treat them all the same. We give them all that we can. And that's what makes an awesome nurse. And you can be that if you so desire and if you so feel that calling. So bless you all. Enjoy your evening and the rest of this that you are watching and listening to. Sorry. It has been a joy. It's been an honor. And I appreciate all your time that you have given to listening. So thank you very much indeed. Okay, I think I'm about done. If there are any questions, I am delighted with some of these names. I can tell that you are from all over the place, but thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. Ma'am, now we are going for our second speaker, ma'am. Finishing our presentation from our both speaker, we have a question answer round. We need to, ma'am.
No worries.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now it's time to invite our second speaker in the stage. Before I invite her in the stage, want to share a little bit about our speaker, ma'am. Her name is Dr. Babala. She is from South Africa. She is a founder and a director at Miyazo Environmental Management Service Limited. I would like to invite ma'am her right now. Hello.
Hi, how are you doing? Greetings from South Africa is to o'clock in the afternoon over here.
I'm good, ma'am. How are you, ma'am?
We are doing well over here in South Africa. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. I can see your screen.
Um,
And the slide is also moving here.
is the slide moving? Okay.
Now the stage is yours. You can start your presentation, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. As I've been introduced, I am Baba Lwafaki from South Africa. I am here representing Ladies of All Nations International. I am so pleased to be invited to talk about women and girls in science. Being a girl who grew up in science myself, and now I'm a woman who's contributing in the science sector. First, I would like to share my gratitude with the Ladies of All Nations International, specifically Professor Caroline Makaka, who is the founder and president of Ladies of All Nations International. I am an ambassador. In 2021, I served as the vice chairperson under her profound and amazing leadership. She's a Humanitarian of the Year 2022 from UK, and she also received a Volunteer Lifetime Achievement Award from the USA President, President Joe Biden. And I would like to also acknowledge Dr. Shamila Ramjoan, who is the Loani Global Managing Director. She used to be an African chairperson for Loani and a South African chairperson before that. So I've served closely with her. And HRH Duchess Dr. Winfred Gitonga, who is our current African chairperson. I am just expressing the gratitude to those platforms, and also mentioning this so that women who are in science and girls in science can be aware that there are these platforms who support women in their various growth path and in their trajectory, in their growth journeys. I would also like to acknowledge and thank so much our Institute of Global Professionals. I am a proud member of the Institute of Global Professionals. This is another platform that I would encourage young girls and women to really leverage, because as it was said during introductions, they have opened a platform to support professionals across a diverse sphere of sectors, and I happen to be in science sector and I'm a professional member. And it's not the first time I've been invited to share in this platform. The last platform was, which I participated in, was in leadership in education. So today we're talking about women and girls in science. It's all interrelated. And I also just like to thank my colleagues who I'm sharing this platform with today. It's all about networks. It's all about unity and being together. And the young girls who want to enter the science sector, you must really find platforms whereby you can find other women who've been participating or contributing in the sector, so that you can receive exposure in terms of what is expected in the sector and the industries you're operating in, and just gain a bit of mentoring and coaching from other women. I have been in the space for the past 20 years, and in the picture on the right-hand corner from where I'm looking, you can see these are the girls and the youngsters that I have had the privilege of working with in the science sector, doing all the services that we provide to various organizations. And I would like to also honor the Global International Alliance. As I was introduced, I was honored to be called Dr. Babalwa Atalanta Faki, and this honorary doctorate was bestowed upon myself for humanitarianism by Global International Alliance. I honor them today. These are all the platforms. It takes a village to raise a child. We say in South Africa, in the village of Dugatole, where I come from, is just a South African saying of Ubuntu, humanity, that no man is an island. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it was not through referrals and these networks and the platforms that I have shared with you. So the point there, as a youngster who wants to get into the sector, understand the value of relationships and the networks. As it has been introduced, I operate in the science sector, and Yezo Environmental Management Services is an organization which I founded in 2005, and we offer services across various industries and specializing in the mining sector. The ones in the picture there, you can see myself in dark, you'll think it's sunglasses, is spectacles. Yes, and the men and the women I've had the privilege of working with, the focus being on mentoring and coaching. Every time we're offering a service, is all about serving. My colleague has emphasized that wherever we find ourselves, given platforms and opportunities to showcase our skills, in actual fact, we are serving humanity. So today, I am just going to share with you role and contribution in the development of science sector. What are roles that you can play, and using Yezo and myself as a case study. And then I will talk about science value proposition, just to say science is all around us. The minute we say science, we say, oh, mathematics, physical science, these subjects are so complex. And we forget that science solves the problems that we face every day. When you participate in the science field, you are doing what I've just mentioned, what my colleague has mentioned, where he was serving humanity as a nurse. So science is all around us. There is suffering, there is challenges that needs us to step up and serve humanity. For us to do this, though, we need to be aware. It needs self-awareness, it needs consciousness. We need to seize opportunities that are presented before us. And you can't seize anything if you are not aware and you are not conscious of what is around us, of what is around yourself. Having that awareness and consciousness, we need to collaboratively, we need to collectively unleash the power of women and girls in science. There are opportunities for action by all humanity. I'll just mention just a few. If we are going to solve the challenges and the problems that science is able to assist us to solve, we cannot leave other segments of society outside. We need inclusivity. We need diversity in our thought processes, in the way in which we bring our minds together to solve these problems. They cannot be unilateral. Is that even a word? Okay. Unity in tackling world challenges and finding solutions. What is the role that you can play, and what contribution can you make towards the development of the science sector? Personally, as Babalwa, we've chosen Myezo Environmental Management Services, which is a consulting company that provides a range of environmental, social, and governance sustainability.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Hello.
Ma'am, actually your slide is not moving. We
Oh,
see the
okay.
first slide is still.
Oh, thank you for alerting me
Okay.
to that. Okay. Oh, okay. I've spoken about this. I was acknowledging these growth platforms. I was also thanking women and science I was thanking and acknowledging my colleagues I'm talking about today. This is the slide that we're supposed to see at that time. I was also acknowledging Global International Alliance. This is the slide that was supposed to show at that time when I was saying I was bestowed with an honorary doctorate in humanitarianism. This is, oh yes, I was alerting you that you will see myself. I have spectacles. That is the image you were supposed to be seeing at that time. And then I am here now. I am talking about the role that we can play in the development of the science sector. And I am saying I am the founder and the managing director of Myezo Environmental Management Services, which is a company that provides a range of environmental, social, and governance sustainability services cutting across various sectors. We contribute towards the economic growth and development of our country through this platform, through this organization, where we understand that in these times, more than ever, we need to develop in a manner that is not going to cause a negative impact on the health of our people and on their environment. Hence, green economy is key in terms of development. We need to develop as responsible stewards to understand that our natural capital, our natural resources have been bestowed upon us so that we can develop, we can prosper. However, we need to protect these natural resources, and we need to promote social justice as we do it. There can never be social justice if we try in a way that is so greedy to develop and we pollute, and people that are within our zone of influence are left suffering from the negative impact of that pollution. That is not social justice. We need to build capacity for participation, which is the reason why I was mentioning mentoring and coaching, which is the reason why I was acknowledging the platform that we are sitting at today, gathered here today. And I was acknowledging platforms like Ladies of All Nations International, because we need each other. We need to collectively tackle whatever challenges we are faced with if we are going to prosper and use science as a tool to solve the very numerous challenges that we find are faced with as the society. What is our inspiration for this vision? Is for myself, my contribution and participation in science, it was really inspired by our indigenous knowledge systems. There's a proverb that says, do not bite the hand that feeds you. Do not turn your back on the sea. I've just spoken now that I contribute in the science sector, specifically in the field of natural sciences. So our ecosystems and interlinkages and interconnectedness and value of natural capital, it enables us, it leads us to thought processes that contribute towards the development agenda and the decision making. Made examples are polluted rivers, which the Sustainable Development Goals are also targeted to solve these problems, to say we shall take care of the quality of our water systems. We shall make sure that there's no poverty. We shall tackle hunger. And all these goals that we have set ourselves as the world, they need science to contribute towards development of solutions. And we need to understand like simple steps, like there is no sustainable development if there is no water. We need it for the mining. I indicated that I participate in the mining sector, providing services there. We need water that is clean for our people to drink. We need it for the production processes. We need the ecosystem services that are coming from those rivers. We need our purifying power of our wetlands. So if we keep on litter and throw waste there, we are not doing justice to our own selves. There won't be livelihoods, and we might end up facing hunger, and there will be poverty, which is what the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are, all the goals and the things that they are trying to solve. And they need us. We need to work together as a collective. And then I said that we need to be aware. We need awareness and consciousness so that we can realize that science is all around us before we just jump and say, oh, mathematics, oh, I'm choosing physical science at school. But why? What are we seeing all around us? And the examples I'm giving are based on my own experience, how I received science as a young girl growing up. I used to collect firewood from the forest. Those were ecosystem services that my environment was providing for us. I spoke about water, which is a global agenda in terms of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. As a young girl, I saw science in action. I was collecting water from the rivers. And if the water that we collected was not clean, we would suffer from cholera and all other diseases. If our sanitation, which it was not up to standard at the time, if nobody intervened, we would suffer, because all our sanitation, if we didn't have ablution facilities, when it rained, stormwater runoff, all that will be washed into our streams and would end up drinking it. You know what that can cause. We needed fuel, energy to be able to cook. Needed people with science mind to make sure that there was enough energy for the communities, for the society to survive, and for the livelihoods to be improved. We depended on agriculture, subsistence farming, using hand hoes, planting vegetables for our health and to have organic food. That is science in the making. So we need to look around ourselves. What is happening around you? And what can the wonder of science do in your own environment, within your own zone of influence? What can it do to help you, to contribute? When you study this physical science, when you study this mathematics, what will you be solving? Maybe if you are driven then by that inspiration, it will not be just a subject. You will have a purpose why we are even choosing it. We need to unleash the power of women and girls in science so that they can serve humanity. They can contribute towards the development of sustainable solutions to the challenges that we are faced with. And these are all the various services that in Yezo we are offering, illustrating them so that if there's a young girl here who do not know what opportunities are in natural resource-based space, you can see we do environmental awareness and capacity building and coaching. We do environmental engineering. I was talking about sanitation and stormwater management. If it's not up to scratch, when that water that runs when it rains, if it then just runs uncontrolled, there can be erosion and people's homes can be wiped off. We provide solutions like that using science. We provide strategic insights where we go to organizations and says, okay, you need to move towards sustainability. How do you get there? We look at the various social aspects of their development. We look at the economic aspect, we look at their biodiversity aspects, and then help them to develop strategies that would be sustainable, that would contribute towards green economy. We do then, after that, we go and visit organization and says, okay, this is what you have set for yourself. Are you complying with that? You were issued with these licenses by government organizations. Are you complying? I'll help them to monitor the impact of their activities on the environment, and develop, again, management programs to assist them to contribute towards this sustainable agenda, sustainable development agenda. Through Miezo Growth and Development Institute, we also equip people to serve. We say, what is the role that we want to play to make a difference? The spectrum of opportunity to serve the people, the planet, the economy, looking at the social pillar, looking at the economic pillar, looking at the biophysical pillar, so that we can all make a difference in all those spectrum of opportunities. What do we need to do to unleash the power of women to serve in the science sector? Really, we need to facilitate the growth and development of the people. We need to skill them. We need to empower them. We need not to set them up for failure. We need to ensure that people are competent to operate within their positions, within the various sectors. We need succession planning for business continuity. I mentioned that we need to provide mentoring and the skills. I spoke about consciousness, knowing what is all around us, and we need to then align that with science value proposition. What can it help us to achieve? The world is committed to reducing our carbon footprint in line with the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. You need to know this is where the world is. Then as an individual, how can I use science to help me to contribute towards that commitment? We know we need to keep global average temperatures not to rise temperatures to below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. This decade has been declared as the ecosystem restoration decade. We recognize that we have damaged the ecosystem. Now we need to restore. That means we need to look at the quality of our soils. We need to understand where have we caused the damage, the mining sector, the holes that we have dug, both on surface and underground. We need to rehabilitate. All that needs a science insights. All that need the skills and the qualifications in the science sector. We need to serve, being mindful of the global opportunities for contribution. We need to understand the key development challenges. We need to combat poverty, unemployment, and inequality. I will talk about inequality just now. After this, we need to understand in terms of governance that our human capital is key to drive effective control and ethical leadership, to give legitimacy and credibility to what we do and help us to be efficient. Therefore, we need to build our capacity, have these science graduates who are capacitated, who are empowered. We need to be inclusive in our approaches. We are not excluding men by having the International Day of Women and Girls, but we are understanding the statistics and we want to level the playing fields. Women and girls have to be a big part of the strategy towards achieving capacity. And then we need every individual in our respective sectors to be driving that vision of upskilling our people so that they contribute optimally, and having people who understand the skills shortcomings and have corrective actions to solve that, so that we can achieve what we want to achieve by this inclusivity we're talking about. I kept on mentioning the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, whose objective is to ensure that there's a lifelong learning opportunities for all, from early childhood to adult education, ensuring equity, inclusion, and gender equality, ensuring effective learning and the acquisition of relevant knowledge, skills, and competencies, ensuring the relevance of learning in terms of vocational and technical skills. And now we're talking about science, and all that is aligned and linked to what we want to achieve as the world. If we do that, we will have women who are feeling fulfilled and are able to contribute towards the development of a society that is healthy, that is happy, that is free, where there is equality and there's no social injustice. Other ways of unleashing this power is through partnerships. In South Africa, there's National Research Foundation, there's Human Sciences Research Council, there's Department of Science and Innovation. Some of the women that we find ourselves working with have been deployed into these organizations so that they can receive practical skills, and they've been deployed by these organizations and statutory bodies and research centers that I've just mentioned here, giving the science, the South African perspective. So throughout the world, there are these platforms and partnerships that we need to leverage. We need to play an active role in making sure that all our women gain global perspective in the application and participation opportunities in the science field that they have chosen. We can help them in our respective fields to understand how to apply science. How do you collect the data? How do you validate it? How do you analyze? How do you report and present your findings and the recommendations which will help towards decision making? This all talks to the various ways we can unleash and build capacity and getting our science women, our women and girls in science to take practical steps in applying the science as a tool in solving the world problems. These are some of the girls that have been empowered, who are now contributing in science in their various fields. It's a journey, it's a growth path. So you start by understanding and be conscious of the environment around you and understanding the challenges that the world is faced with, and then decide which field in science are you going to participate in to be part of the solution. As I am finishing that, I also spoke about inequality, which we need to tackle most of all. I am going to read a poem that I have written because, as I indicated, I am operating in the science field. I am also using poetry to communicate science. I'm also using poetry to tackle some of the inequalities and injustices, and that also speaks to gender inequality, that also speaks to a leveling of the playing fields in the science sector. If there is a girl who's doing science, but at school you don't have a laboratory, and you write the same, in South Africa we say is matric, where after that then you can go to college. If you are expected to write the same paper with the rest of the other students who had a laboratory, surely that is not fair. That is not equality. That is not leveling the playing field. That is unjust. I just want you to travel with me. This poem is about non-ordained inequality, a narrative, a narrative, poetic narrative. I'm talking about a girl who is growing in these environments that are not really equipping her or empowering her or enabling her to be competitive with and be able to contribute to society the way she would if she was given the same opportunities as the rest of her peers. She arises with a new dawning hope. She smiles as she rides on this rumbling, unsafe container called transport. She's going to school now. This is her transport. Emitting stinking smoke, radiating a screeching sound disguised as music. Noise pollution, if you tell me. Such a terrible taxi ride today. She arrives at school. The teacher thinks she did not do homework out of incompetence. They move to the chemistry lesson. That's one field in science, hey? A tear rolls down her cheeks. She cannot even articulate her challenges. She has to stretch her mind and use her imagination to visualize the chemical reaction. No wonder she is a visionary. She sees things that no mind can see nor ratify. Fate has trained her in her abstract reasoning. At school, they share everything. That one computer they received as a donation. For chemistry, though, they do not even have a laboratory to share. She then thinks of how 45 kids in one classroom peep through each other's shoulders and armpits, trying to get a glimpse of a test tube. At this stage, she feels her tummy growl. She did not have breakfast this morning. She tightens her uniform belt, a trick she learnt to stifle hunger pangs. Social injustice. Nevertheless, hope drives her to achieve. It consumes the social discrepancy. A dazzling light fills her heart and shines through her path. Hypnotizing hope enthralls her being. It keeps her going despite it all. At least she knows how to use a computer. Her brother, all over the world, has not even seen a computer, but they are doing matric, supposed to write and pass the same examination. They need not complain, but wish for release from this cage of social disparity. She yearns for economic emancipations. Although not disparaging the status quo, she's excited about the solutions that are underway, talks about merging the schools and other strategies to bridge the widening gap are applauded. Playing fields shall indeed be labeled. Her schools happen to be amongst the 80% of those that have been described as dysfunctional. 80% of schools in South Africa at some point in history were described as dysfunctional. And this girl I'm illustrating here was coming from that public education system. I hope we've just all listened and understand the situation that we are faced with as the world, as we are calling upon our girls to take science. There are social injustice issues that we need to tackle. I spoke to a young graduate by the name of Sivuyisiwe Sangocha, an environmental scientist intern who has over 3 years relevant work experience. Her highest qualification is Bachelor of Science in honors in environmental and water science degree. And she once worked in South Africa here for Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. And this is, I just want to share what she has to say when she was asked what times does she find herself in as a young scientist. She said that post-apartheid South Africa, where a lot has changed, but much is still the same. I find myself as a young African woman where the goalposts for job security keep being moved further and further away. We have acquired the degrees. We are in the science field and we need the skills to match, but infiltrating the industry isn't easy as we were told it would be. Education definitely still does open doors and is key to overcoming difficult socioeconomic issues, but it is not a walk in the park for some of us. Unemployment rate in South Africa was 33% in 2021, a 4% increase since 2020. When Sivu was asked, what support do you wish to have to make a difference as a young scientist? She says, we'd like to receive facilitation of practical skills within undergraduate studies. It would have been of much help if our supervisors and lecturers at varsity or college facilitated us in registering for our professional registrations with institutions like South African Council for Natural Scientific Professions or IPASA, Environmental Assessment of Practitioners of South Africa. These registrations take a few hours to complete and are required when searching for employment. Not all of them are required for employment, but if they are going to operate as professional in the science sector, they need to be registered as professionals. For example, myself, I am registered as a professional. That's why I am operating in the consulting space in South Africa. So in conclusion, we really all need to understand the role that we need to contribute in the development of science sector. It is good to encourage our young girls. It is good to encourage our women to mentor the youngsters in the science field, but we must take cognizance of the social aspects that are hindering their success. There must be inclusivity, there must be diversity, and if our schools where our girls are studying are faced with the challenges where a child go to school hungry. In South Africa, at least that was solved in that at school they were given a lunch, they are served food. In all the other world countries, we must look for opportunities like that, understand what are our girls faced with, and do and take active roles in solving those challenges. If our girls, when they go to school, they are in unsafe transport, there's noise pollution, and we expect them to go to school and be competent and be able to thrive in science and mathematics, physical science, then there are things that are blind spots that we are overlooking. There's opportunities for action for all of us as humanity, as we build an inclusive society, as we build diversity in the decisions that we take, that will help us to be united in tackling the world challenges and finding the solutions. We need to increase the female labor force that is participating in the science sector. We need to increase the number of women in leadership positions. We need to close the gap in wage and remuneration. If the science sector doesn't pay as well as the other sectors, our girls will not choose science as a field of study. We need to mentor and coach our girls, play the big sister. It takes a village to raise a child. We need to deal and uproot inequality. Thank you for listening, and all the best as we both serve humanity in the science sector. Thank you.
Ma'am, for your rich content presentation which can impact our knowledge seeker surely. After your presentation, I hope our knowledge seeker can learn something new, which was our only intention. Learn and grow together, IGP knowledge seeker. Once again, so thank you so much, ma'am, for your presentation. Now, ma'am, it's time for our question answer session, which is the one more valuable part of our regular webinar. Honorable ma'am, please wait for a few minutes. After a short video, we will back in our session part 2, which is the question answer part. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have webinar certification and online quiz competition. Mention our speaker from
Hello again.
welcome back to our participants. Ma'am, our first question is from Ishaya. Ma'am Babala, what is green economy and natural capital?
Okay. Thank you, Saya, for that question. A green economy is based on the understanding that as the world, we need to develop. And as we are developing, they are, for example, if you have a mine, you are going to be removing minerals from the ground. There's various technologies that you can use. So green economy says when you are doing this development, which contributes towards the economic development of your country, you need to take wise decisions. Choose tools, choose solutions that are not going to impact negatively on the environment. Use tools or equipment that are not going to pollute, for example. So that, in essence, is what green economy is. We need to develop, but we need to use, they normally equate green with nature. So our solutions must be nature friendly. That is our economy. And then when that economy is green, it means even the skills that are going to be pushing the economy must be green, meaning then you need to have people who understand about pollution, who understand about engineering equipment that are not going to cause harm to the environment. And natural capital is, I'm sure you normally hear when they talk about human capital, is capital that is based on the human resources. For our economy to thrive, we need our people. That's human capital. For our economy to thrive, we need nature. So that in the economic books is normally referred as natural capital. In South Africa, for example, we have minerals, we have water. Even though our water resources are very scarce, some of our water we're giving it to neighboring countries. We're getting it from neighboring countries like Lesotho. That is all termed as natural capital. I've tried to simplify it, as I don't know if you need to give me a follow-up question. Is it at least getting to a level where you can say, aha, I see? Green economy is an economy that is driven in a way that protects our natural resources. Our natural resources is our water. It must not be polluted. Our air that we breathe, it shall not be polluted so that we can be healthy. The socio-economic environment, it must not be impacted negatively. Our people must thrive, must get jobs. Our people must be equipped with the resources that are needed and the skills that are needed to drive this economy that we are doing. We call green economy. And the world is embarking on that now, green economy and sustainable development. It is the growth of our economy that is sustainable. And natural capital is our natural resources that are enabling us to develop. That is the capital that feeds into that development agenda. And we receive that as natural capital in our economic growth books. Does it help you a bit?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, our next question is from Mirafi. To Ma'am Jen, how is your work as a nurse during these challenging times? Can you give us some tips to become as active as years passed by, ma'am?
Yes, hello again. It has been exceedingly challenging over the last few years, especially since 2019, when COVID was, I'm going to say this, accidentally, on purpose, released into the environment. The whole world suffered during those times. And thankfully, it is now a lot better. So challenging, how did we meet those challenges? We met them by being exceedingly careful. However, we followed those rules and regulations that were given to us in order to keep our patients safe, in order not, especially at that time I was working in home care, is to take anything from home to home. Tips on becoming active. Well, you keep going, you keep doing, you keep making that patient the most important person that you see at that particular time, no matter which, whether you go are in a hospital, in a nursing home, and it doesn't matter. The activity that you do is precisely caring for that person to meet their needs at the best time that they are in dire need during related to illness or whatever injury, doesn't matter. They're all special. Activity, you just keep going, as I said. Activity is working with your colleagues, working with everybody and your surroundings, making sure it is safe for your patients. I can't express more about safety. And I know, Babawala, you also are very much into safety. If we do not keep it safe, what else can develop from that? And we
Yeah.
need to keep in mind, as you have said, humanity is so important. We are all humans. Thank goodness we're not all the same, because that would be exceedingly boring. But we have to meet the needs of every individual person and make that the most important goal, to increase what we can and make that person feel special. And if we don't make them feel special, then we're not doing our job. You keep active by continuing to meet education, to move education, to improve education. When we're educated, we have more knowledge, we can serve better with that additional education. I mean, if I wanted to, with all the certifications that I have done, I could put 20 letters after my name, but I don't. I use four. RNBS. I have a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Most important to continue education. We can't move forward. It's already been spoken about. We cannot move forward without education. We cannot keep going. So it's so important. Women, I know we have some men on there too, and men make awesome nurses just as much as women do. But just keep going. Never stop. Continue to improve. Continue to move the world forward, because we're sort of at a stumbling block right now. And we know how important economy is. We know how important equality is. It's very challenging. It's very challenging. I don't think we can move away from that word today in this world. It's extraordinarily challenging. So thank you for your question. I hope that has helped. It's very difficult to talk about tips because you just keep going. You don't stop. You don't stop moving forward. I think that's the most important thing, is don't stop moving forward. Because without moving forward, you get nowhere. And we do not want to go backwards. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Next question is from Ishaya. Kindly natural capital is based on. Actually, she answered the questions.
Hello. Do you want me to go? Am I supposed to answer right now?
I think he's replied that question was already answered.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Of course, you can answer, ma'am.
I don't know if it's still the same one or it's a new one, or you just wanted more clarification on the natural capital. I'll just say it's based when your question is kindly natural capital is based on more on biodiversity, which is your plants, your animals, and these would entail vegetation around you. That's why your forests, they make up your natural capital, and the water resources, they make up your natural capital, and your animals that for example, in food security, we depend on livestock. If For those who are not vegetarian, we also get our food from the oceans. So if we pollute them, we are also just impacting on our natural capital, because there won't be food resources that are from the marine environment. So it's really based on what we term in the natural sciences biodiversity, which are plants and animals in simple terms. So as we are busy with our economy, those plants are what makes up that economy. So when the economists are looking at all the capitals, intellectual capital, human resource capital, financial capital, for you to develop, you need finances. Natural capital is part of that mix, because no country can thrive without their natural resources. Okay.
Thank you so much. Ma'am, our next question is from Miref. Practicing social justice. Ma'am, our next question is from Mifaki Membabalwa. What way of practicing social justice, though science?
Okay. First, okay, what is the best way of practicing social justice through science? First, I would say we need to just realize that within our very own existence, we are surrounded by what in sustainability it would be termed as, we need to find a balance between our planet, the people, and the ecology, like the plants and animals I was talking about. So in whatever sphere where you are operating, what impact are you making to the people? We spoke now about safety. Safety. Are people, am I making my people or whoever I'm serving safe? Is there some safety? So there's a people component. Whatever you're doing, we are serving. And then there's a social aspect of thing. From that which I'm doing, how is my social environment benefiting? If I have a laboratory that is manufacturing medicine and I'm taking my waste and throwing it and like medical waste. Okay, I'm a hospital. I take my medical waste with all the syringes and everything. I put it in the general waste. It ends up in landfills, and there are people who come to those landfills. You know, in South Africa, there's something called scavenging. It should not be happening, but people go to the landfill site, waste disposal site, and they are trying to take things. And we have all these syringes and things that are there. Despite that, scavenging is not, it should not be happening. Let's talk about things that are natural based, that will happen anyway. If you take human parts and you go when there is incineration, you know, in hospitals, we have a nurse here. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. She will chip in to support in that. Human parts and during operations, and you take human waste and you throw it in landfill sites. That's not social injustice. So when you are acting as a scientist in whatever area you are acting in, you can be practicing social justice by respecting humanity, by saying, I need to understand the impact of my activity. If I take this waste and throw it here, it will be washed down by the rain, and downstream, there are people who are drinking the same water. Yes, I am a scientist, but I have an obligation and a duty to serve humanity in a manner that is not detrimental to their health and well-being. That is social justice. I would really like my colleague to also chip in, because it's a discussion for all of us. I just thought about that example because she's here about the hospital.
And I can't agree with you more on that. There again, if you do not follow rules and regulations, and you can have some very nasty issues when you talk about syringes. We have a massive issue with addiction and sharing.
That's a social issue.
That's a social issue.
Mm.
It's a social injustice because you do not know what you could be passing from one to the other. You know, years ago, we did not have as many issues with health as we do today. And I think it's very important that we, as humans, take care with the environment, because it's us that are creating the problem. It is us that do not think about what we are doing. And very, very important, talking about what we do in hospitals. We have specific guidelines on what we do. So it does not. You can no longer pour an old bottle of medicine down the toilet. No, that's again social injustice, because it gets into the water and you don't know what you could be passing on to somebody. So we all have to be extraordinarily careful in what we do in our everyday life to meet the needs of humanity and to meet the needs of everybody that you meet, whatever. Social injustice is not, you know, science is everywhere, but social injustice is rife. We can't keep it up.
and the regulatory framework that we need to abide by. Yes, we move from
Absolutely.
our hearts, but the regulatory framework
Yes.
is the best way as well to practice social justice within your space of operation. I'm just
Absolutely.
reinforcing that. I like what we are coming up with here.
Yes. Absolutely.
Thank you, Mirafa. I hope we've answered your question or provided some tips and insights from all our own experience on how then you can go practicing social justice through science.
Thank you for your answers. Our next question is from Flami. Good evening, everyone, to our competent speakers. Why is it important for women and girls in science? Thank you.
May I start off by saying, why is it not important to involve women and girls in science? Why is it not important? Of course, it's important. We have just as much right to move forward in science. How far has nursing come? A little bit of history. Prior to Florence Nightingale, a nurse was thought less of than a scullery maid. Then came Florence, and everything changed. So, yes, we do need more women and girls in science. But again, I think you have to have, as has been explained, I think you have to have the want, the need to help, to keep this world going as long as we can, because we have future generations that are going to have to sift through the mess that has been made over the last 50 odd years and try and help resolve that. Women and girls can be just as important. Now, I don't mean to be unequal to the men. I understand their importance in the role too. But why are women and girls thought of in a lesser state than men? There is no equality there. However, I feel it's vitally important that we are just as equal as men. Why do men get paid more than women? Doesn't matter what genre you're in, it just seems to be that way. But it is extraordinarily important because we need more. So, how do we get more? Through programs like this, through education, through moving women and girls further into the world of science. Nursing is a science. Never said it wasn't. Nursing is a science. There's so much you need to learn about the human body. Your human body is just pure science. It is an incredible piece of work. It's incredible what the body can do. So I just believe that it is important. But how do we do that? Education. And getting education to those places where it's not as big. And we have to move that forward. Somehow or other, we have to move that forward. Over to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ian. If we say as the world we want equality, then gender equality means men and women
Are
should
equal.
are equal. I think Ayan has answered in that context. The other thing is, if we say, let's solve, we have these challenges. COVID-19 is one of the challenges that were being spoken about, and we need science to solve these challenges, these problems. And science is practiced by people And I'm not sure now the current statistics. Let's say if women make up 51% and men makes up 50%. So now we have 50% of the minds solving these problems, and the rest of the 51% of the world is out of the equation. Do we think we are going to have solutions that are really representative of the world? And are we going to have solutions? Not unless then we are declaring that that 50% is equal to 100 because each man represent the 51% that the man is not contributing. What are we really saying as society when we talk about inclusivity? If you are a parent at home and you have kids and one of them is a teenager and you involved the adult children to come up with a solution that is solving a problem that faces your teenager and is not in the room,
Not fair.
what is that solution? How is that solution? If we have women who are struggling maybe with menstrual cycle and we have men coming up with solutions for that, how are those solutions going to be really? If we talk about menopause and women, and we want them not to be impacted negatively at that age of their lives when they face menopause, and we need science to come up with these solutions, how are men really going to come up with these solutions alone? It is important because we want a world that is inclusive. We need a world that embraces gender equality. We need a world whose solutions are diverse, representative of the cultures, the mindsets, and the insights that make up that world. Okay, that's all for now.
Ma'am, for your answers. Ma'am, our next question is from Sunday. Madam Fatih, you suggest way to motivate women, seeing that they play a fight against environment but are considered as weaker in some societies. Thank you.
Tough one.
The first part of ways to motivate women, seeing that they play a vital role, that one is perfect. Just a simple example, I gave a picture of myself going and collecting water from the rivers when I was growing up. So the first person who sees that there's pollution in the river is me as a woman, as a young girl. And I'm the one who brings this water. And I'm the one who warns the whole family that the water was looking a bit murky and today. So there is a role to play in even solving and in saving humanity. However, if I don't have a voice, then I cannot even contribute at that level of saving my own family from the environmental degradation impacts. That is just a simple example of the role that each and every woman, even in those societies where they do not have a voice, but they are involved in household chores, and they are the ones who interact with nature. Firewood, where I come from, in South Africa, in that particular village, it was women who go and carry the firewood and carry it on their herds and head and take it home. So it's the women who need to be educated and be told how to chop and where to not chop. By the way, we had people were guiding us. It was at a later stage that I realized that this was environmental or it was termed conservation, where we are conserving. So they play a significant role in environmental degradation and protection. If they are the one who go and collect firewood, they need to know what to collect, what species to protect. So I'm just emphasizing what Sunday is already alluding to, that they play a significant role in the fight against environmental degradation, even in societies where you might not realize that they are playing a role, but they are considered as weaker in some societies, as weaker and they do not get given a voice. So to motivate them, it's important for us to understand who you are. I will go back to my book, When Mulberry Trees Are Uprooted is one of the books that I wrote. I was reading from about that narrative. I would say you must know that you carry the genetic code of the one who knows no social class. So nobody can tell you that you're weaker. You carry a genetic code. That is an awareness, knowing who you are first. Because we cannot go and say we want to play a role if we believe the narrative that is being communicated to us that we are weaker. You were not born with a silver spoon in your mouth, but silver was embedded within your core. When geological formations formed at God's command, He formed you and said, you were good. You are good for greatness. You are good to make a difference. You are good to make a contribution. You have a voice. You are a woman for a purpose. You are not a man. You are natural. You are the one who gives birth to whatever we see and we declare as nature. Therefore, you have a significant role to play. It first starts by acknowledging who you are and understanding your worth while you serve or approach humanity with humility. Then once you know your position and you want to take science, nobody else can tell you that you have nothing to contribute. So we have a role to play as women as well, to motivate each other. There is a reason why there are these organizations like Ladies of All Nations International, where first we need to erase the narratives that we grow up being told. We are raised to believe that we are weaker. We are raised to believe nothing to contribute. If we do not remove that first, no amount of motivation can really make a significant difference, because as long as you do not know who you are and the value that you carry or you contribute towards humanity, then nothing will stick. So in motivating women, I would just say, just know that you have a voice and you are here for a reason and a purpose. And you are a woman. You must serve like a woman. I'll just need to just quickly read one of the message I gave to women from the Phenomenal African Woman Foundation. They just asked me to say something. They had nominated me as a woman of influence. Thank you for that honor. I just said, lead like the woman you are, seek the counsel of the wise and learn from others, but never strangle your own voice by being somebody else's clone. Remember, only a diamond can be used to mechanically cut a diamond and turn it into a polished gem. Be open to be guided by other women.
Bravo.
You. Thank you, Sunday. Yeah, because you're Sunday, I just had to mention God in all that response, Sunday.
Honorable Ma'am, for your time in IGP. We have learned a lot from you with new topics. It will add some value to our day-to-day activity along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable Ma'am, hope to see you with a new topic and a new date. Thank you, ma'am. Take care.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
very
much.
much. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure and an
It was
honor.
very much so. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
To the if you want to leave this studio, you can, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
If there are no many questions, I'm afraid I have logo. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say goodbye and thank you. Again, it's been an honor. Appreciate it.
Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. See you again. It's time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we will start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. IGP Knowledge Seeker, it's time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we will start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. Today, our webinar topic is webinar and girls in science, and the code is IGP 8726, and the code is IGP 8726. Without code, no one is eligible for certificate. With code, you can claim your certificate anytime. How to claim an e-certificate? Go to www.eduigp.com, click sign in, log in if you already have an account, or create a new account if you are new. Once logged in, click free webinar, select the webinar title and click continue course get enrolled if you haven't enrolled yet. Type the code in your certificate code box. Click get your certificate. It is auto downloaded in PDF file already. Just check it in file manager or download folder. Don't forget to leave a review in your FB page, website and in Google. Dear IGP Knowledge Seeker, it's time for the most engaging part of our regular webinar, which is an online quiz competition, which is our regular webinar activity. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Go to www.slido.com and find today's quiz or scan this QR code for direct joining. Quiz code is EVEN. Quiz code EVEN. Video will start our quiz session. Let's mention your friend to join our quiz session. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is EVEN. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is EVEN. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is EVEN. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is EVEN. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is EVEN. With 38 people, we are going to start our quiz session right now. Our first question is, could girls and women act in play in ancient Greece? Option 1, no. Option 2, yes, but only at night. Option 1, no is the right answer. 35% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Princess Angelica is holding the first position. Our second question is, boys and girls significantly differs in their abilities in math and science. Option 1, true. Option 2, false. Option 2, false is right answer. 12% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Kingway is holding the first position. Our third question is, the percentage of elementary school girls are interested in math and science. Option 1, about 65. Option 2, about 85. What percentage of elementary school girls are interested in math and science? Option 1, about 65. Option 2, about 85. Option 1, about 65 is right answer. 67% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Kingway is holding the first position. Our fourth question is, how many women today have received a Nobel Prize in Science? Option 1, 20. Option 2, 5. Option 120 is the right answer. 58% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Marcella is holding the first position. Our fifth question is, boys outperform girls in education. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 2 false is right answer. 72% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Kingway is holding the first position. Our sixth question is, the stereotype that boys are better than girls in math and science. False. Option 2 true. Option 2 false is right answer. 69% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Kingway is holding the first position. Our seventh question is, over half of women in the science field come from which HBCU? Option 1, Spelman College. Option 2, Howard University. Option 1, Spelman College is right answer. 31% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Barnensor is holding the first position. Our eighth question is, girls hold themselves to a lower standard than boys do in subjects like math and science. Option 1 false. Option 2 true. Option 1 false. Right answer. 71% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Barnesser is holding the first position. Our ninth question is, what is one of the reasons why girls lose interest in science? Option 1, the yearly income is too low. Option 2, they don't receive enough support from parents and teachers. Option 2, they don't receive enough support from parents and teachers. The right answer, 94% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Barnesser is holding the first position. Our last and final question of our evening session is, what is one solution to maintain the interest of girls in science field? Option 1, interactive activities. Option 2, make the classroom as a prison. And the right answer is option 1, interactive activities. Congratulations to our quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slido will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that we will issue our online certificate on our official Facebook page and group, Institute of Global Profession. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slido will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group, Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner, top 10. Congratulations again. Slido will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group, Institute of Global Professional. At the end of our session, we can say properly feed your skill. Never stop learning, cause life never stop teaching us. Be happy and stay safe. See you again and again. We want your participation in every program. If you want to live a happy life, tied to a goal, not to people or things, Albert Einstein. Before I say or hit the end button, again wants to thank all IGP knowledge seekers for your active participation as well as see you again in the next session. Thank you.